My name is Samantha Olatunji, Director of Economic Development for the City of Mount Rainier, and I'm here today with Mr. Kurt Becker, and we'll be talking about real estate in Mount Rainier. So Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Tell me about yourself. Can you state your name, where you live, and what do you do?
Sure. My name's Kurt Becker. I live in Brentwood, just a couple blocks from Mount Rainier, and I'm a real estate agent for I serve the community, but I also work in DC and Montgomery County as well. I was a teacher for 17 years, and then about 3 years ago switched to real estate.
Oh, okay. And which real estate company do you work for?
I work for Remax Allegiance.
Okay. We want to get to know you a little bit more. So there's a word on the street that you are the go-to for certain things. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. I love to garden, and even though I'm not particularly successful at it, and so I try to work out ways that I can help neighbors leverage each other as a community to get better prices on certain things. A couple years ago, we did raspberry bushes, and I'm hoping to see the fruits of that this year. And then about a year ago, we did tulip bulbs just to get more flowers growing in the area. So I kind of like to look for ways that when we work together, we can get a little bit more for the buck, and a little bit better rates from different providers.
Okay, so what are you going to be doing this year?
I might do blueberries. I'm a big blueberry fan, and they're kind of a native species to this region. I'm not quite sure yet. I know that we do have a native plants person in Brentwood who is also kind of doing the same thing, so maybe I'll try to work with her to get a little more native plants in the area.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's a little bit about you. Okay. So now we're going to dive into the real estate market. And so what I would like to do is just to give just a little bit background on Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier, the community dates back to 1910. It was incorporated in 1910, but in actuality, the first homes was built in 1902. Since then, today we have about 1,100 single-family homes. We also have 3 large multifamily developments. And I just wanted to give a quick fact. Mount Rainier is actually the most dense municipality in Prince George's County because of the large multifamily developments that we have. We are actually the most dense municipality in Prince George's County. So next we're going to talk about property taxes. Okay. So this year it was the triannual property tax assessment. And looking at social media, I also manage the city's social media outlets. Just taking a look on social media, I saw that residents, I guess when they got their property tax bills, they were pretty surprised with the increase in the property taxes. Can you share your perspective on that?
Sure. I mean, Prince George's County is on the higher side for property taxes, and so when there were a bunch of assessments that seemed to have come in a lot higher than people expected, and probably higher than they really should have been. And actually, I helped one of my former clients. She said, this is crazy. I need you. Can you help me with some comps? And I helped her by pulling some comps to give examples for the county to say, or for the assessor to say, this is a little bit higher than it should be. And some of them were really just quite high, and people felt blindsided. And so it's definitely it was a problem, and we'll see how these end up because many people appealed them to see whether they could lower the price, the assessed value, and we'll wait and see what the results are from that.
Okay, you working in real estate. Do you think, or what do you think impacted the increase?
Well, Mount Rainier has increased very much in value over the last 5 years. It's gone up probably 70%. And each home has increased in value close to 70% in the last 5 years since the worst of the bubble popping, and so the value, the home values have increased, but I think the assessor's office was probably a little bit too aggressive in their assessment of how much it increased and for some homes. And actually, my home in Brentwood I didn't see a terrible. I thought the value was pretty fair for what they assessed my property.
Okay. Are you aware of the difference in increases versus Mount Rainier, Brentwood, and Hyattsville, maybe?
I'm not terribly familiar with Hyattsville. I've spoken to several people in Brentwood and Mount Rainier, and both of them seem to have had increases. And when I looked at the statistics for Brentwood for the increase in property values, that's happened as well in all the gateway communities, really.
Okay. Can you talk about the prices? In the last quarter, can you talk about the average closing price for a house?
Well, I can tell you for 2015, and those prices, they've gone up a little bit since then, but I wouldn't expect it too much. The median price for a house in Mount Rainier was $312,000.
Okay.
I think it was in January. We had a settlement that was the first house, as far as I could find in the history of Mount Rainier, to break $500,000 for a single family home.
Wow.
But then there's still a fair amount that's of housing stock that's a little more affordable. It's a little tougher to get into those houses though, because usually they need significant work.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. Do you recall what street that house was on?
I believe it was on. I think it was on Bunker Hill, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're just, I think it sold for $524 or something like that. But yeah, I was surprised. I haven't seen, we'd never seen one before at that price. So.
Wow. Yes, that's amazing. That's great. So can you talk about who's buying it? Age. Can you talk a little bit about that?
It's actually, my experience is it's been a mix. We've had some people who, it's mostly people coming from the city who are recognizing the values.
City meaning?
Oh, I'm sorry, from DC.
Okay.
Recognizing the value here and the great community that we live in.
Okay.
And so I recently helped a young couple who were in a condo, and they realized they could get a home for the same price or similar price, not extending too much beyond their previous budget. And then I just yesterday finished a settlement with an older couple that's looking to downsize. They were in Logan Circle, and they're looking to downsize to and anticipating later that they'll be on fixed incomes.
Okay.
So they're looking towards retirement, and this being their home when they retire. So it's quite a mix actually. So.
Okay. And what are they looking for? Are they looking for 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, front porch, backyard? Like, what are the top, maybe 3 things buyers are looking for?
I think that the people who are coming to Mount Rainier from the city, from DC, are looking for. They're liking their yards.
Okay.
They cleared there are no houses with yards in DC practically, and it's certainly nowhere near this price point. So people are liking the yards. People are liking the walkability of the community and the different businesses in the community. Like this, our hosts here.
Yes.
They're liking the houses. Sometimes they're looking to make a change. Sometimes they think the house is perfect. So the houses, and we have quite a variety of housing stock here. We've some smaller 2-bedroom places, some duplexes even, and then we also have some much larger places. So it's kind of nice that way that there's a variety of housing stock available for different people's needs.
Okay, so my next question, since we're talking about houses and variety, can you give me an example of what your money can buy in Mount Rainier versus in DC? A comparable house?
Sure. I guess it would depend on what neighborhood of DC, but in Mount Rainier, you can get a house that you don't need to do any work to move into for around $300,000.
Okay, how many bedrooms does that usually?
Usually that would be 2 to 3 bedrooms.
Okay.
Sometimes people will squeeze a 4th bedroom into the basement, but from in the upstairs you're going to get about 1,200 to 1,500 square feet, and you'll get a house that it may not be like a full-on rehab, but it'll be. You will be able to move in without doing any repairs.
But the price that you're getting compared to DC, you would be able to take that additional money to do the rehab, right?
If you wanted to do any rehab, but like I said, you wouldn't need to. So if you were coming from DC, in DC, in many neighborhoods of DC, that's a condo.
Yeah.
You're not getting. You're not, and it might only be a 1-bedroom.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of value there. There's on the lower price side, you might need to do some fixing up to, if you're in closer to 200 or a little lower, you might be looking at some repairs before you can move in.
Yeah. Okay, great. So let's talk about trends.
Okay.
What's been, going on in the news. So in 2015, there was an article that went out that said that Mount Rainier was among one of the top close-in suburbs in the metro area. Can you talk about that some?
Yeah, it's like I said, it has increased in value. The properties have increased in value, and everybody's just recognizing, where we're sitting right now is, like maybe 300 yards from the state line.
Yes.
So we're very close in, and so there has been a trend to move here and take advantage of the affordability. In terms of housing trends, I think a lot of people's are a little bit upset that there's been a lot of flippers coming in and adding significant amounts of square footage to a house and then making it much less affordable.
Yeah.
So there's a plus and a minus to that, because it's helping for where the housing stock is inadequate.
Yeah.
There are some houses in Mount Rainier that really need a full rehab, and so when when the flippers come in order for them to make a profit, they have to increase the square footage, and then it becomes it prices a lot of people out of that market.
Yes, and as you know, Mount Rainier is a historic community, and we have a historic district, and there's historic homes in the city, and we have as a community, we want to make sure that the historic architecture is preserved, and so that's very important in Mount Rainier.
And people are justifiably upset.
Yes.
So.
Okay, so can we talk about Hyattsville? So.
Sure.
There's in the news, there's an article most recently that actually said that Hyattsville is actually maybe in one of the top 3 hot neighborhoods in the metro region right now. Can you talk about that? Specifically, how does Hyattsville compare to Mount Rainier?
But Hyattsville proper, the area that along Route 1 is it's a very popular destination because it has the grocery stores, the nightlife, the businesses, and the walkability. So there's been a recent development that has very large townhomes there that are quite popular. There's nearby there are some Victorian homes that are also very popular. And so there's quite a variety. Again, like Mount Rainier, there's a variety of housing stock that people are interested in, and like to be able to walk to businesses within their community. So to me, they're very similar.